Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm just woken up before the college football games. I'm pretty much Colorado and Nebraska, one of the early games, probably the one I'll watch. Might recap it, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to recap the two ranked games today, Ole Miss and Tulane, then Bama and Texas, the big game tonight. Kentucky, obviously I'm going to recap because it's my team. But yeah, I want to do NFL news here before the college slate, so I can get at least an NFL video out for today, before tomorrow's week 1. Let's get into it here. So a few days ago, I talked about where Sean Payton basically told Russell Wilson to focus less on like his wrestling, like his own brand, and basically stop kissing like all the babies. You're not running for public office. Basically telling him the truth. And Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson, he reveals that he keeps receipts of people doubting him, per Chris Tomasson. He said he keeps the receipts in his, quote, back pocket. And Wilson said, I'm used to some of those people. I'm used to some of those who believe and some of those who doubt. And I think I've proven that throughout my career, what I can do, and I got to do it again. He said he keeps the receipts in his back pocket. He certainly has a lot to prove, obviously. Because considering the Broncos, they gave up a ton to get picks and a big $245 million contract extension to get him. Giving him that big $245 million. Had a really disappointing season last year. But they have a better coach this year. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to have two bad back-to-back years. I really don't think he's going to be bad. But he has to play good this year, because if not, people are going to look at Russell Wilson differently. They probably are after last season. But from what I think it's just one bad year. But if he has another year like that this year, he might be washed. But I think he'll have a bounce back year. I think he's a better coach. I think he'll be better this year. I don't think he'll be as bad as he was last year. But he put up bad numbers last year, so there's a reason people will doubt him. But I think he'll be better. He just needs to start being better. I think he will. You remember that Patrick Star meme? That's not what he wanted to cook. I think Russell Wilson will have a good year. So we have an update. Cesar Ruiz, an offensive lineman from the Saints, he's agreed to a 4-year deal worth up to $46 million, with $30 million guaranteed of the contract per Ian Rappaport. He was a first-round pick in the 2020 draft for the Saints. He's also got like 70% of his deal basically here guaranteed. And I don't get people saying this is an overpay. Bro, like, he's due for a breakout season right now. I don't know how people can say he's overrated. He's literally just becoming good. And he's underrated, considering he was shit in his first year. Which, some rookie offensive linemen won't be good in their first year. And now he's really good. So, it's definitely worth it. He used to be meh. Now he's really good. So, Saints locking down one of their offensive linemen for the next 4 years. So per a report from Ben Standig, Chase Young has been ruled out for the Cardinals game, the hashtag Commanders defensive end, and he isn't expected to return until at least week 3 of the 2023 season. So yeah, he isn't expected to return until at least week 3. Feels like he hasn't played in years, man. But I think it's good for the long term, because he doesn't need to play against the Cardinals, because the Cardinals probably get blown out. So I think it's smart to rule him out, because it's the Cardinals. I mean, you don't need to play Chase Young. It just feels like it's been forever since he's played a fucking game. So, update. The 49ers, they've created $11.78 million in cap space after restructuring the contract of defensive end Eric Armstead per Field Yates. They currently have $41.5 million in cap space per Yates, which is easily the most in the league. So they now have the most cap space in the league. And that's the advantage of having a 7th round pick on his rookie contract as your starting quarterback. So, good question, mate. Or because maybe the 49ers are thinking of making a move because the $41.5 million cap space is after Bosa signed his deal, so they have a lot to work with. They could sign. They could sign some more players. They have get them down. I mean, Brock had a great run last year, and I could definitely see him doing it again this year. I definitely think he could do it again this year. With the receivers he has, that system, it benefits Brock Purdy. I'm surprised how they have $41 million money. So, remember Jack Jones, the charges that were dropped to him, where he bring that 2 firearms on an airplane or something? So, those charges were dropped, but we had an update today. Hashtag Patriots cornerback Jack Jones, who recently had gun charges against him, dropped. He will miss multiple games with an injury. Per Jeff Foe, he will likely be placed on injured reserve. So, yeah, he's going to be out for a few games with injured reserve, because he's injured. Man, that's... Maybe it'll be a short-term injured reserve. At least you have Christian Gonzalez in your secondary. Cause if you didn't have him, Jesus Christ, they would get fucking killed. So the Patriots, the hashtag Patriots will sign QB Bailey Zappi back to the active roster per Tom Pelissero. He was released during the final 53-man roster cut downs, but now he'll return to the active roster to back up Mac Jones. The Patriots also recently added former Panthers quarterback Matt Corral. What was the point of releasing Bailey Zappi if you were just going to sign him back? I mean, the way he played last year, they would have been stupid not to bring him back. Oh, and also now that the Patriots bring him back, also a report, the Patriots are cutting QB Matt Corral now that they signed Bailey Zappi to the active roster per rap sheet, a short stint for the former third-round pick Matt Corral. Zappi knows the playbook better, and Corral will join next week. Will probably join the team next week again. Yeah, it's just a mess with the quarterback situation. But they'll probably bring him back on the practice squad, I bet. So Jared Goff is closing in on the NFL record for consecutive passes without an interception. He has thrown 359 consecutive passes without an interception, which is third most in NFL history. His last interception came in Week 9 of last season. He's closing in on the number 2 spot. Tom Brady, who had 399 passes in a row streak in 2022. Brady also had a 358 pass streak previously, which Goff broke with his 359 during the Chiefs game on Thursday night. He needs 44 more straight passes without an interception to take over the number 1 spot all time. Oh, we're gonna get the jinx incoming so bad. The Rams sold the future for 1 Super Bowl, which, I mean, it might have been worth it, but... So, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes says he's, quote, embarrassed by losing to the Detroit Lions after the team's 21-20 loss on Thursday. He says, it's embarrassing for me to lose any time. So, the Chiefs take on the Jaguars in Week 2, hoping to bounce back. Is it really an embarrassing loss? It's not really an embarrassing loss. I mean, it's not really his fault. Because it was just because of Kadarius Toney costing them the game. And part of that not having Travis Kelce, but that was still a winnable game. It's just so many key drops. So many key drops. And it's not embarrassing. It's not even embarrassing losing to the Lions. The Lions are a good team. So an update, the hashtag Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins is not believed to be in the Bengals' future plan, sources tell Kelsey L. Conway. There's no word about a trade coming for Higgins at this time, but a possible tagging trade could happen in the off-season. See, there was a report earlier in the day that they were not close on a contract extension, and they were never were close, a source told Kelsey L. Conway, and now this is an update to this. He's only 24 years old, highly productive, and a side/speed mismatch. There's a lot of teams that will want him. He'll be a really nice pickup for someone. It's just because of how Joe Burrow got extended. They're probably, I'd rather keep Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is probably going to go somewhere else. So we also had an update yesterday. DM Rossini. The hashtag Bucks have no plans to sign wide receiver Mike Evans to an extension at this time. The deadline Evans gave them will pass. Well, this was yesterday's report. That deadline will pass today. If they don't reach a deal, it appears this will be his last season with the team. The king of 1,000 yards might be out from Tampa in 2024. Will his streak at least continue with Baker Mayfield? So yeah, they currently have no plans to sign him to an extension at this time, which is wild to me, but they're making a mistake. I'm sure he'll fit in somewhere else. But the Chiefs really need to try and go after Mike Evans, because they need a receiver. But, I mean, if I was Mike Evans, I'd want out there ASAP. Now, the Lions-Chiefs season opener on NBC was the most watched show since the Super Bowl. It averaged nearly 27 million viewers. Football is king. Y'all, football is king. Well deserved, was a really good game, and the Lions are for real. NFL doesn't disappoint. If it wasn't blacked out on DirecTV, some people, it was blacked out. Might have been even higher. But the Lions are America's team. A recent report revealed that the 49ers tried to trade the second overall pick in the 2017 draft for then Commanders QB Kirk Cousins, but Washington wouldn't even return a phone call. Kyle Shanahan was just named the head coach of the team and wanted to reunite with Cousins, who he coached in Washington. Mike Shanahan's father said about Cousins, quote, he knew Kirk knew his system, and he knew the type of guy Kirk was, but Washington wouldn't even return the call, end quote. Hard to believe that Washington wouldn't even return a phone call for the second overall pick in the draft, considering they didn't even want to sign Cousins long term. Maybe Dan Snyder screwed this all up. I mean, maybe they did want Cousins, I don't know. But that's why Washington was always a poverty franchise under Dan Snyder. One, they should have drafted Herbert or Tua, but went for the quote generational defensive end when their D-line was already stacked. Handling RG3 with his injuries and all those shenanigans. Should have kept Kirk Cousins, but let him walk after 2 tags. And this report of not even answering the phone for a pick on a player you let walk. You could have at least took the second overall pick. That's kind of just trash to me. So, after the Chiefs lost on ESPN, they were talking about there's already 2 videos. After one loss, people were like, oh, it's the beginning of the Chiefs dynasty ending. Is their dynasty already over? It's not surprising. They only lost by 1. Sports media's in the gutter. Over on Fox Sports, they aren't counting the Lions win. ESPN's talking about, oh, their dynasty over. Travis Kelce didn't play. Chris Jones didn't play. I don't see how they only lose by 1 without those players, and you say their dynasty's over. Lions deserve the win. Chiefs just didn't play as good. Just awful. I think this is just for fucking views, though. So a few days ago, Myles Gaskin was signed by the Dolphins, or the Vikings, the former Dolphins running back, but the Vikings have already cut him off the team. You wonder where he's going to go. Steelers edge. Alex Highsmith, who recently signed a 4-year, $68 million contract, said it's time to shut off the noise as the season about to start. He meant it and deleted his Twitter/X account. He recorded 14.5 sacks last season, so he's going to shut out all the noise as the season's about to start. Good for him. That D-line's crazy this year, I'm not going to lie. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. So the Commanders aren't going back to use their old names, Redskins, basically. And Commanders owner Josh Harris also confirms the team will not go back to using their former name, Redskins. Would be the funniest thing if they ever did that, though, to go back to that name. Now, the Giants have signed kicker Graham Gano to a 3-year contract per the team. One of the most underrated kickers in the league. Update. Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphrey is out for the Texans game. Time Mark Andrews is questionable. Hopefully Mark Andrews plays. I need him to play for my fantasy team. And Texans wide receiver John Mechie and safety Jimmy Ward are out for the Ravens game. So those are some injury updates for those games. Taysom Hill's by like 25 now or something. But yeah, that's in my first NFL news video. So until next time, have a lot. Peace.